Hey folks, John Miller, propanebuzz.com here with you. Let's go over the EIA inventory report for the week ending June the 8th. As I mentioned last week, we're going to be doing this live when it happens here starting in a few weeks, or at least most weeks we'll do it live. Sometimes I may have to travel and visit some clients, so I'll be doing it from a hotel room and might not have the live cam the way that I want it, but we'll try to persevere. Kind of makes it fun to open a present live on the air. Well, not on the air, on the interwebs. Let's go down and look at propane. Propane stocks now up to 50.8 million barrels after a 3.7 million barrel build. Yesterday, a polling of industry experts expected to see a 2.3 million barrel build. I told a friend I thought we'd see things much higher. 3.7, just shy of last week's 4 million barrel build, but that's back-to-back weeks where we're building nearly 8 million barrels total. That's pretty strong stuff. Propane production, I'm guessing we're going to see in line with where it was a week ago. So this is where you see that here in the report, 50.8 million barrels. Last week was 47.1. 3.7 is the difference, and therefore you have the build. That's an 8% difference. So last year at this time we were at 52.8 million barrels. So we're now just 1.9% off of last year's pace, which I believe we're going to overtake. And I've spoken about that at great length this spring. Let's go down and look at production. 1.948 million barrels per day, just a tick off from last week's 1.965, but any number above 1.9 million barrels per day is very, very strong. 4-week average of 1.95, very strong. A year ago, the 4-week average was 1.844. 2 years ago, we saw 1.7 million barrels of production per day. This time frame last year, 1.858. So we're about 100,000 barrels greater production per day, which adds up to 700,000 barrels per week. Let's go down and take a look at exports, the next big thing that we look at in this report. Here's the export line right here. Go down to propane, 715,000 barrels per day. I think we're going to continue to see that move up this summer as the trading arb is wide open right now. If you read what I wrote yesterday, and you can always find links to that on propanebuzz.com, you saw that the trading arb is wide open. You have a nearly $9 to $10 Brent crude to WTI crude spread all the way out the curve, all the way into 2020. You're talking about some companies and businesses overseas and entities, foreign entities, who are going to need propane, who with the Brent crude basis, which is where Middle East production, propane production is based on and their pricing is based on, versus American production based off of a WTI ratio, and you have that big of a spread, means the trading arb is going to stay open. It means American sourced propane is going to continue to be favorable on the global market, which is going to impact inventories at some point in time and may also help to keep Mont Belvieu based pricing where it is. Some of you have asked me, John, why is Mont Belvieu so high? Mont Belvieu's average yesterday somewhere around 88, near 90 and 89 cents. Is it very high? I mean, we're talking about Mont Belvieu propane being a 56-57% value to that of crude oil, which is well within the historical range. It's not even an outlier number. We were over 70% at times this past winter when propane really peaked and was pushing $1 a gallon at the Mont Belvieu trading hub. That's higher on the historical range. 56-57%? No, somewhat comfortably within the historical range. So as a relation to crude oil, you can't say that Mont Belvieu based propane is high. It seems high compared to Conway, whose average, yesterday was somewhere around 67.5 cents. So it's a 21-cent spread. So is Conway low? Is Belvieu high? Is there somewhere in both? But when you look at the Belvieu curve, we'll do that here in a second. Maybe it'll make a little more sense to you and why I think things could come together here in the future. So that's where we have exports off from last week's 890. 2 years ago we were at 649, a year ago 816, so we're kind of in that range. The 4-week average 863,000 barrels per day. But propane's pricing has been range bound. I want to pull something in here real quick. It probably won't work the way that I want it to, but let's just see if I can get that to happen. Well, I'm going to open this up, double click it, pull it in. I think, there we go. So this is propane prices, daily average rough estimates, dating back, you can see on your screen, to the middle part of February. But I want to focus in on this area right here. Come on now. Come work with me. Well, I'm going to undo that so you can see it. Focus on this rectangle for a second. So this is May 8th where this rectangle begins and through yesterday's trading day. And on May the 8th, we saw propane prices, averages, daily averages in Conway of around 68 and 88 at Bellevue. And you can see we hit some peaks along the way, hit some mid to high 90s there at Bellevue in mid-May, May 17th, and Conway certainly was up. Then it came back down. But this mark here, yesterday, and then you compare it to May the 8th, we're talking within a penny of being the same place that we were on May the 8th. So after the last 30, 40 days, we've just done a sideways dance. Propane's very range bound right now. Let's see if I can find a forward curve here to look at for Conway and Bellevue and bring this in. Just doing this kind of on the fly. So here's some estimated forward curve data from the financial markets. Look over here, okay? So this is Mont Bellevue, this is Conway, this is June down to January, say, of 2019, so 7 or 8 months from now. Here's where things were yesterday at Bellevue in the paper markets, around 88.75, Bellevue 67 and a quarter Conway. But look at how flat this is for Bellevue. Right down here, all the way to December, we're talking 88.75 now and 89 and a quarter in December. That is a very flat curve. But look at Conway, 67-ish and a quarter yesterday in the paper markets for June, but down in December, 78 and a half. We're talking over 11 cent front to back spread. So this one indicated to me that some traders may be able to add more profits to their bottom line by buying a front month and carrying it forward into the winter. But over here in Bellevue, there's really no incentive to buy the fronts and carry them because the curve's flat all the way out. These are the kinds of things that you look at when you try to analyze whether you feel bullish or bearish about things. And I'm going to write more about that as this week goes on in the blog, and I'll write more about this today in the blog, so be sure to read it if this is coming at you a little fast. You analyze these things, you analyze price, you analyze inventory, but then you also analyze who has the barrels. So Conway's numbers make people think, it's bearish, it's weak, and it kind of looks that way. But if you're a trader or you're a supply manager for a large wholesale company, you wanted to go out and get on a couple 100,000 barrels. Can you do that right now? Are those barrels available to get? I mean, you can go out and get 25,000 barrels. You can go out and get 50,000 barrels. Can you go out and get 200,000? Can you get 300,000 if you really wanted to lean in this? If you're a big, large co-op, a Cenex or Growmark, you want to lean into this, cover a lot of your pre-buys. Can you do that? Or are the barrels being controlled by a few people in very tight hands? And maybe they're only willing to sell 25,000 here, 50,000 there. I think the latter may be true right now, which is not necessarily a bearish indicator. So there's a lot to analyze. And again, in yesterday's write-up and today's write-up, kind of talk about some near-term strategies that I would have if I were in your position, looking to do some summer fills or covering some fixed-price contracts that you're going to offer to your client base in the winter. Be sure to check out the blog yesterday's, but also today. I'll have that link included in the email you just got, so you've already got it. You can already read it right there. And also, be sure to check out the bamwx.com weather video today, also linked in the email that you just got. The guys at BAM are thinking we could have the warmest June on record, and they're beginning to harken back to analogs of the summer of 2018, looking a lot like the summer of 2012. That was a hot one in a lot of places. As always, thanks for watching. We'll be talking to you soon.